Edmonton Eskimos, Warren Moon. Will the Ottawa Rough Riders be able to contain him? We're going to find out in just a few moments. Ottawa's going to have possession first, though. Cutler's kickoff, not a deep one. Bounces in front of Brazeley at the 9. Brazeley got out to about the 23 before Angelo Santucci, 23, and Tommy Towns, number 20, were there to bring him down. And the Ottawa Rough Riders are going to start at their 23-yard line on the opening offensive series of the 1981 Grey Cup.
Look at the receivers, the man with the real speed, Kelvin Kirk, but one of the principal people in the game unquestionably has to be Tony Gabriel. Gabriel, a big target, second leading receiver in the Eastern Division. I'm sure that J.C. Watts will want to go to him a lot, Pat.
Well, we've got a penalty on the kickoff. Offside against the Edmonton Eskimos, so Ottawa, of course, will accept the penalty and force Dave Cutler to do it again from the 40.
That may be a sign that the veteran Edmonton Eskimo Ball Club's a little over-anxious. That's an unusual penalty to start a football game out, of course, and Dave Cutler will have to kick off again.
They stopped Ottawa well in their own end, which is exactly what they wanted to do. Ottawa, they do not feel, has a strong offense with a lot of diversity to it. They could pretty well tell what they're going to do, and they wanted to attack them deep in their own end. We'll see whether or not the Eskimos give up much yardage as a result of this penalty.
Brazeley led the Eastern Conference in kickoff returns, averaging more than 21 yards.
He's hit it big.
This is Brazeley from his 3. Number 28, and Ottawa actually loses a couple of yards. J.C. Watts, the star of the 1981 Orange Bowl, will see if he can't be the star of the 1981 Grey Cup game. The Riders starting from their 20, and Avery split to the bottom of your screen and Kirk to the top. And swing it out to Jim Reed. Ed Jones, number 24, sliced him down as he tried to get around the corner. And Reed may have gained about 4.
Mike, a very interesting defensive alignment to start off with for that Edmonton Eskimo Football Club. They brought only the front 4 that time. Parker, of course, playing linebacker or in a down position. I don't think Ottawa will see that often.
They love to come with us up to as many as 8 and 9 people at a time.
2nd and 6, Ottawa. Passing situation for J.C. Watts. He screens it out to Clapp, and he's got a big first down. Sam Clapp, with a burst of speed, gets into Edmonton territory at the 52-yard line.
J.C. Watts opens up the game by going to his backs twice. A little flare, first to Reed for 5 yards, and then the screen back to the same side, expecting the big rush. Again, the Eskimos had only come with 4 people, but there was great blocking from that right side, Frank.
Good job. They thought there'd be a blitz, and it wasn't, Mike. You're right.
1st and 10, Ottawa from the Edmonton 52. Watts will go down because his intended receiver, Kelvin Kirk, slipped down at the Edmonton 20-yard line. Dale Potter and James Parker, 30 and 40, make the tackle.
J.C. Watts looking upfield, trying to find his receiver, but he just couldn't really get set, spot him upfield, and had to just eat the ball. I'll tell you, I'm impressed with the way Watts will do that. A lot of rookie quarterbacks will try to circle back and give up a lot of yardage, but he'll take that loss when he finds himself trapped.
The loss was 3. It is 2nd and 13, Ottawa from midfield. Tony Gabriel has the first down inside the 30. Ed Jones and Joe Holloman make the stop, but not before another big gain for the Rough Riders into the Edmonton 29.
Pat, they're doing a good job of picking up those blitzes when the Eskimos come with them. Tom Towns came from the left side on the first time. This time he comes from the bottom of the screen, but watch the job the offensive line does for the Riders. They give Watts a lot of time to throw the football. Another first down inside the 30.
I'll tell you, he's looked impressive.
This is Platt. And Sam Platt gets about 5 into the 23 or 24 before Ed Jones hauls him down.
Well, the Ottawa Roughriders certainly have shocked everybody with the success that their offense has had. Edmonton had them at the Ottawa 21 off the kickoff, just exactly what Coach Hugh Campbell would have wanted. But Sam Platt had the first big play, 2nd and 12 to Gabriel, and they had a big play there. Now they have to come up with about 2nd and 4.
Watt in trouble. And he's not going to get away. He drops him for a loss back at the 28-yard line, and we will see Jerry Organ.
He had Sam Platt as a safety valve off to the sideline, but Dan Kepley was right there. Watts was careful not to take any chances, again showing some poise rather than risking interception at this point in the field. He held on because he saw Kepley in good coverage.
So the 34-yard field goal try by Jerry Organ could put Ottawa out in front.
Boone just beat Pat Staub, the offensive right tackle, to the inside to put that pressure on Watt.
It is good. The Ottawa Roughriders have gone out in front of the Edmonton Eskimos 3-0, and our telecast of Grey Cup 81 will resume in just a moment. The Ottawa Roughrider offense did its job, moved all the way from their 21 and ended up with a field goal. Now let's see what Warren Moon and the Eskimos can put together. This is their first possession of the ball game. Moon fires, and the pass is underthrown, looking for Brian Kelly, number 70.
You may notice
which one is the experienced quarterback and which one's nervous. It looked like Warren Moon was the brand new rookie playing in his first Grey Cup. Very over anxious to throw that football.
I was going to mention, gentlemen, you might notice a bandage on the left hand of Jim Germany. It's reported that he had an injury to one of his fingers last night. We don't know how much that will bother him this afternoon, if at all, but apparently it was pretty badly gashed.
2nd and 10, Edmonton from their 35-yard line. And Moon is dropped in the backfield by Greg Marshall. Boy, when you talk about Marshall and Raines, Marshall has such outstanding pursuit, and he chased down Warren Moon in the Edmonton backfield for a loss of about 2, and Edmonton will be punting.
Last week against Hamilton, you knew that the defense had to do it. They did. Marshall and Raines led the day, and Greg Marshall has a big start this afternoon.
Ottawa did the job effectively when they had the ball.
I'll tell you, he just drove Big Bill Stevenson, number 62, right back there, and Warren Moon did not stay with the containment. He tried to go around the outside, and Marshall kept the leverage.
So
we thought the pressure would come from the front four of the Eskimos.
Hank Olisic hauls down a high pass from center, end-over-end punt that comes to Brazeley at his 40. Angelo Santucci first down to make the stop. And Leo Blanchard came in to finish him off, but Ottawa will now have excellent field position at their 47-yard line.
The maturity and the excellence of the Eskimos may eventually tell on the day, but Frank, football is such a game of attitude, and the Ottawa Roughriders have come out with a great attitude this afternoon.
Well, you know, we talked all week about everybody in the world favoring the Eskimos, and that certainly has been a consistent factor here in Montreal, but usually in this sport, when that happens, you see a great effort by the other ball club.
Watts under a lot of pressure.
He can run.
There's a flag down now. Oh, and he was hammered. Joe Holloman really unloaded on him, but there's a flag back in the Ottawa backfield.
What's the ball carrier?
Fact, you know, Ron Lancaster and I were looking at this ball game before in the pregame show, and we said that they had to keep the leverage. David Boone, number 64, the left defensive end, did not stay on the outside and contain Watts. And that's exactly why Watts had room to move. Take a look at it. There's David Boone right there, 64. He gets caught on the inside. You cannot do that against Watts.
and 20 yards to go.
He just has that great maneuverability. James Parker, number 40, also gets knocked down coming from that linebacking spot on that side. But unfortunately for the Riders, a penalty will put them back to their own 37-yard line.
The penalty was holding. It is 1st and 20, Ottawa. The ball at their 37. But you see Watts' statistics, very impressive, 3 for 3 so far. And now over the middle, complete to Tony Gabriel to about the 43 before Ed Jones makes the tackle.
By Tony Gabriel.
So he'll gain 6 of the 10-yard penalty back. It'll be 2nd and 14.
Gabriel playing on a weak knee, injured in that playoff victory against the Hamilton Tiger Cats last week. But we watched him before the game. He seemed to be driving off on it pretty well. How it'll stand up against the heavy going, we don't know. But Gabriel undoubtedly will be a favorite target. He caught 8 or 9 last week. We expect he'll go there a lot again this afternoon.
Pretty good example of man coverage with Jones all over him.
Watts throws it to the sideline. Out of bounds, intended for Calvin Kirk. And so Jerry Organ and the punting unit will come out onto the field with 8 minutes, 21 seconds left to play in this opening quarter. And Ottawa out in front, 3-0.
Gentlemen, if I can just interrupt for a moment to tell you the story on Jim Germany is he took almost the entire nail off his finger in a slight mishap, and it was so painful that they've had to freeze that finger and then bandage it. But now he doesn't feel it, however, because of the freezing.
Thank you, Bill. We look at Jerry Organ's punting statistics on the season. He'll be booting it to Sincar or Fraietta. And this will be Fraietta from his 21. Rudy Phillips, number 67, there to make the downfield tackle. And when we come back, the Eskimos will be starting from their 26-yard line. Grey Cup 81 from Montreal returns in a moment. If you've just joined us, the Ottawa Rough Riders are out in front of Edmonton, 3-0. The Eskimos now starting from their 27-yard line. First down. They give us inside to Germany. It was bottled up momentarily. And then he slanted to the outside a little bit and got to the 32 for a gain of 5 before Jim Piaskowski, number 73, was there to haul him down. Julius Caesar Watts is the quarterback of the Ottawa Rough Riders, and this is Warren Moon.
A tough Ottawa defense didn't yield anything in their first series for the Eskimos. And they haven't given up too much yet. But Germany, if they're giving the ball to him this early, must be able to control the football even with that frozen finger.
The gain was actually 4, so it is 2nd and 6. Eskimos, a flag comes down. A time count violation against Edmonton. And Riggs is so right.
A rookie mistake.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
The Eskimos are a little bit uptight, and the Riders loosey-goosey with nothing to lose and a lot of pride to salvage. That's what it is, the signal for the time count violation. The loss will be 5 yards. Let's go to Bill Stevenson right now.
Larry Highball, what kind of a problem is J.C. Watts presenting the defense?
Well, you know, J.C. he's a good rollout quarterback, and he's rolling out sometimes, and, you know, he can run the ball pretty well, you know, so we have to, as defensive backs, we have to stay on our man pretty tight because with him being such a good quarterback, anything can happen.
Warren Moon trying to hit Neil Lumsden out on the flat, but the pass again is underthrown. And so Hank Olisic and the punting unit comes back out.
We suspected that the Ottawa Rough Riders may put Billy Hardy on Tommy Scott. Wherever Scott lines up, left or right, you'll see Hardy flip to that side. They're using really about 6 deep backs in their defense, coming pretty well just with their front 4, but getting good pressure from those front people.
Exactly, Mike. They're faking the blitz with Mitchell and Glasser in the middle there, number 43 and 76, but they're not coming at all. Warren is just not showing the poise that we expected.
Bob Howe's a high pass from center that Olisic hauls down and gets a good boot away. Now this is Brazeley at his 33-yard line, back to the 30 now. And slips down as he gets to the 44, but again, Ottawa will have excellent field position. As you see the Ottawa coaching staff on the sideline, that's Bob Obilovich. And he'll talk to his unit as the offensive alignment of the Rough Riders goes out there now.
Boy, that Ottawa defense had so many problems, particularly in the secondary through the season. One of the major reasons for their 5-11 record, but Coach Bob Obilovich kept changing and improving, and they've been playing very well in this final season, the playoff season.
First down, Ottawa from their 44. Watts puts it up for Pat Stokely. The star of the Eastern Conference Final, Pat Stokwa, is inside the Edmonton 20 at the 18-yard line where Gary Hayes made the saving tackle.
Mike, you know what's happening? The Edmonton Eskimos are playing man-to-man defense almost every play now, and McLeod is just beaten cleanly on the play by Stokwa.
Pat Stokwa's incredible 20 receptions, no touchdowns in the regular season. 2 touchdowns against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and a big start here.
Well, they ruled that he stepped out at the 33-yard line, so that's where Ottawa has possession with a first down.
Gary Hayes was actually the defensive back beaten on the play. Not McLeod.
Runs right into Este as we go to Brian Williams.
Mike Raines, you said you had to get pressure on Warren Moon and get it to him early.
Well, we're getting a little pressure on him right now, but I think it's going to get better as the game goes on.
Moon looks nervous out there.
Well, they're all nervous. I think right now we got a little more intensity than they do, and we get some more points on the board, they're going to be in big trouble.
You guys still lose?
We're ready.
Thanks.
The loss was a couple of yards. It is 2nd and 12. Ottawa at the Edmonton 34-yard line. Watts puts it up, Pratt has it, and is dropped by Dan Kepley as he got to the 30-yard line.
I got to show you one very effective way that they beat the blitz. You'll see the linebackers on both sides coming. That's James Parker at the top of your screen. And he just gets rid of the ball absolutely so quickly. Parker is number 40, and of course he's led this ball club in sacks. He just doesn't have time to get in there.
But what a job Kepley did coming all the way from the middle to catch up to that back, throwing out to the outside. That's a great job of linebacker.
He can move a little bit, can he?
Boy, he's super.
The field goal will come from the 37-yard line. With 4:51 left to play in this opening quarter. Huey's concerned, understandably. He brings his club in here with a record of 14-1-1. They had a tough game against the BC Lions, but they come to the Grey Cup game looking for their 4th in a row as the biggest favorites in Grey Cup history, and find themselves down by 2 field goals to a raggedy tag gang from Ottawa that wasn't supposed to have a chance. First down, Eskimos from their 35. They do not have a first down in the ball game. It is picked up. Rick Sovieta gives Ottawa possession at the Edmonton 42-yard line.
They kept everybody in, Pat. They tried to get maximum protection. Moon appeared to have a lot of time. Ottawa's dropping everybody off, as we mentioned before. Moon seems very unsettled in there. He just threw a bad ball. Here's another look at it. He wasn't really hassled. Right into the hands of Rick Sovieta, and the young Canadian linebacker made sure.
Oh, Moon concentrating so much on trying to hit Brian Kelly, he did not see the linebacker. You see, Mike, he hit him right in the numbers with it.
First down, Ottawa from the Edmonton 41. Again, the play action is Watt trying to get to the outside. Puts it up. Stokely was interfered with by Gary Hayes. The flag is down. And Ottawa will have possession at the Edmonton 7-yard line. The roof is caving in early on the Eskimos. Four minutes, 7 seconds left to play in the opening quarter. It'll be first and touchdown to go Ottawa.
Matt, this is 2 major mistakes by Gary Hayes in the first quarter of this football game, but it was J.C. Watt's ability to run with that ball that he managed to avoid James Parker's rush coming from inside out. He did not deliver the football very well, but the penalty was rather obvious, well inside the 10-yard line.
There's an interesting statistic. Ottawa has played Edmonton twice in Grey Cups. They won it in '60. They won it in '73. They lead this one 6-0 and will be first and touchdown to go now from the 5-yard line.
I think maybe we had a talking penalty there against the Eskimos.
Well, that's another sign of how disorganized they are. They're not composed. They aren't showing the professionalism that has earned them the championship caliber of play that they've displayed over the years. They're just rattled right now.
Really surprising. Hayes, of course, as we mentioned, the only rookie in that defensive lineup.
First down, touchdown to go Ottawa from the Edmonton 5. Watts puts it in the end zone. No touchdown. The rule, he was out of bounds.
I think his foot came right down on the line, and that's the problem. You have to be inside of it. You have to get 1 foot inside, and I think it came down right on the line. But what a favorite receiver Stokwa has become for J.C. Watts. The interference call on Hayes was also intended for Stokwa. Watts comes back, tries to go to him deep.
Not really a classic throw, almost end over end, but delivered absolutely. Good call by the officials. Just out of bounds.
Another look at his roll action. You're going to see a lot of that.
Second down, Ottawa into the end zone. Gabriel makes the catch, but was not in the end zone. He was right on the goal line.
Well, I'll tell you, he must have been an inch away.
They bring the linebackers from both sides. Look at the linebackers coming. There's absolutely nobody in that middle area where Tony Gabriel goes and just finds an open spot where middle linebacker Dan Kepley has gone back behind the goal line. Third from the 1-yard line.
And Ottawa will go for it. Third and touchdown to go.
I like it, Ben.
The give is to Reed. Touchdown, Ottawa.
Running in behind the all-Canadian right guard, Val Belcher, the outstanding offensive lineman in the East, and for good reason. Pat Staub the tackle, Val Belcher the guard, a quick dive play, and they're in.
That Ottawa bench is ecstatic as Jerry Organ will try to give Ottawa a 13-0 lead. And he does. 2 minutes, 56 seconds left to play in the opening quarter, and Ottawa has shocked the nation. They lead at 13-0. This is Grey Cup 81 from Montreal. We've got ourselves a Grey Cup Classic. Ottawa given no chance to win. They lead at 13-0. Edmonton looking for their 4th straight Grey Cup. Maybe the greatest team ever assembled in this league. Let's see what they can do now as Jerry Organ prepares to kick it off. Hayes, Sinkar, and Freyada are back deep. Ball bounces to Hayes at his 10-yard line. And Hayes is dropped as he crosses the 30 to about the 33 by Tim Hook. And so the Eskimos, who have not enjoyed good field position this entire ball game and are still looking for their first down, will start at their 33.
An offense that averages 36 points per game has got to get on track. They're too good. They're just rattled, and I'm sure that you're going to see Warren Moon and that offensive line get together and start some offensive production.
2 minutes, 45 seconds left to play in the opening quarter. Ottawa 13, Edmonton nothing. Kelly is flanked to the left as Moon rolls that way and throws to Brian Kelly, who is forced out at about the 42.5-yard line by John Sutton, the cornerback on that side, number 27.
John Sutton, Frank, is a much-traveled cornerback within the league. He's a person that had been worked on through the course of the season by Ottawa opponents. But last week, Hamilton Tiger Cats tried to work there, didn't have any success. Sutton came up with a big game.
That's Brian Kelly just on a quick turnout pattern. But let's go downstairs now to Brian Williams.
Jim Reed at the Ottawa touchdown. I'm surprised you're able to move the ball as easily as you are against that Edmonton front four.
I think we're working outside, and with the ability of J.C. Watts to run the ball himself, I think Edmonton's conscious of that, and they're leaving receivers in man-to-man coverage. I think that's opened things up for us.
Eskimos look a little tight to you?
I think we're all tight right now, but, you know, you get a few hits, and I think everything's going to loosen up. I'm sure they'll tighten in now and start moving the ball a bit, but it's up to us to keep moving and playing the way we are.
Even you guys look a little surprised.
Oh, we're just happy. We're happy to be here, number one, and we've heard a lot of things being said this week, and we just want to prove ourselves.
First down of the ball game for the Edmonton Eskimos on Jim Germany's carry. They have possession at their 45. The pass intended for Wendell Smith, but Moon had to unload it in a hurry because there was big pressure from Mike Raines.
We thought the pressure would come from Raines and Marshall, and it certainly is. That's Raines right there, number 79. Blanchard, the right offensive guard, had pulled out, and offensive center Ted Million just didn't get over there quick enough. Jim Germany also tried to get a piece of him, and he was just too quick.
So it is 2nd and 10. Eskimos from their 45. They trailed 13-0. Piaskowski is way outside as he drops Moon back at the 35. Let's see now if he was drawn off or did he just move on his own.
He's certainly ahead of everybody else, Pat. About that, there's no question.
I'll tell you, he did the right thing, though. He just came right in there and completed the play. Otherwise, of course, the Eskimos would have had a free shot at throwing the ball downfield.
It is offside against Jim Piaskowski. The 5-yard penalty will make it 2nd and 5. Eskimos from their 50-yard line. Edmonton has not been in Ottawa territory this entire first quarter, and we have but 1:17 left to play.
And if you turned in late for whatever reason, it's 13-0 Ottawa leading Edmonton.
2nd and 5, Eskimos. Again, the big pressure, and Moon is blocked by Mike Raines back at the 42-yard line.
Raines and Seymour doing deals in the middle there, and you would think this veteran offensive line of the Eskimos could handle that. Raines goes to his right. Seymour, the veteran from the BC Lions, comes up behind him, and they're putting great pressure on Warren Moon. This is not by any means a rookie offensive line of the Eskimos. They shouldn't be confused that easy.
I think they're just so concerned about Raines, Frank, that both of them picked him up. They certainly have them rattled still.
Angelisic punting again on 3rd and 12, Edmonton. This is Kirk from his 27-yard line back to his 20 now. And that's where he's going to be dropped at about the 19-yard line by Bill Manchuk. On Ottawa's first possession, they started at their 21 and moved all the way down for a field goal. Now they'll be starting inside their 20 at the 19-yard line.
65-yard drive for the first field goal, an interception that allowed the second one to be set up. But they've looked very sharp offensively.
They look pretty sharp defensively as well.
I would say.
Well, their first screen to Platt, they went for 33 yards, kind of set the tone of the game for them offensively. They found out they could move it.
This is Platt, and he dances his way out to about the 21 before James Parker, number 40, and Tommy Towns, 20, haul him down at that point. The gain will be a couple. It'll be 2nd and 8. Ottawa's total offense.
Tom Wilkinson has been pretty well relegated to a backup role now. Warren Moon has led the way offensively, but he can always come in if Moon has to get settled down, and he can be very effective still.
2nd and 8. Kirk has the reception for the first down. And Kelvin Kirk is out over the 40 to the 43-yard line as the Rough Riders have gone over the 200-yard mark for the first quarter of play. It is Ottawa 13, Edmonton nothing, and Grey Cup 81 continues after this.
Here's to the everyday things that end up being everything. Here's to all things simple. with casual clothing and footwear from Marks.
All right, let me just correct the statistical comment that I made. Ottawa has 132 offensive yards. The Edmonton Eskimos have but 8. Believe it or not, Ottawa out in front 13-0 and moving again with possession at their own 43-yard line as we begin play here in the second quarter. Watts going deep for Jeff Avery, and Joe Holloman comes up with the ball. They both went for it, but Holloman came up with it for the Eskimos at the Edmonton 31.
The ball was underthrown. Avery was simply trying to break up the sideline. Holloman has great speed, Frank. You're not going to beat him easily deep. He came back to the ball. Avery tried to come around to try to actually bat it away, but Holloman did a good job of screening with his body and was able to pick off an interception, a turnaround that could be very important for the Eskimos because certainly they have looked confused to this point.
First down, Edmonton, the ball at the Eskimo 31. And very quickly jumping offside was Bill Stevenson, number 62. He and Mike Raines had a little tussle, and obviously it would appear that the Eskimos jumped the gun. I've got to tell you, in speaking with Mike Raines, he was a little bit concerned at some of the comments that Bill Stevenson had said to begin with. George Brancato, well, he said we don't have a chance, but he says that every game, and they end up winning the big ones most of the time. As you look at Julius Caesar Watts, what a job he's done since coming in to become the first string. It was a procedure call against Edmonton, so it is 1st and 15. Eskimos at their 26-yard line. They give us to Jim Germany, and Germany crosses the 30 to about the 32, so he'll get the penalty back and a couple more before he was dropped by Greg Marshall. Let's go to Brian Williams.
Patrick, this is Sam Platt. What is Edmonton doing differently that's allowing you to move the ball so effectively?
Well, they bring an 8-man front, but they're not bringing an 8-man front right now. But we worked on picking up the blitzes all week, and we're doing a pretty good job right now.
They're scared of JC's running as well as the passing?
Well, they're scared of JC running and the streams, but we worked on all week, so I'm pretty sure that if we keep this up, we'll do a pretty good job there, you know.
Interception by John Glassford on a tip ball by Jim Piaskowski.
You can't say anything more about this defense, Frank. It's been fantastic.
Well, I'll tell you, the unusual thing is the Ottawa Rough Riders did not get a good rush. Watch Jim Piaskowski coming from that right defensive end spot. He did not get a good rush. He was stopped right at the line of scrimmage. That's Heck Partey, number 63, the left offensive tackle, but Jim does the right thing. He gets his hands up in the air and manages a tip, a badly thrown football.
First down, Ottawa at the Edmonton 33. Tony Gabriel was the intended receiver. Ed Jones very nearly picked it out.
J.C. Watts had some problems during the regular season with interceptions. He averaged 1 every 13 attempts. That could be as many as 2 or 3 a game. He's had one earlier and just about had a second one there.
Ottawa out in front 13-0 early in the second quarter. Have 2nd and 10 from the Edmonton 33-yard line.
They're not keeping the leverage on him.
He's got a lot of sidelines.
He's got the first down. J.C. Watts inside the Eskimo 15-yard line.
These people are just not keeping the kind of pressure that the leverage that they need to keep on J.C. Watts. Watch as they pursue from the backside, and they're just too shallow. He manages to get a little bit of depth, and that's all he needs to go around the left side, all the way inside the 14-yard line. Stop it there. You can see the defensive people being caught inside. J.C. just has too much speed.
First down, Ottawa. The ball at the Edmonton 14-yard line. The toss goes to Platt. Touchdown,
Unbelievable. Nobody in their wildest dreams would have imagined a 19 or 20-point lead by the Ottawa Rough Riders at this point. And what a great job by Sam Platt. George Brancato is getting absolutely the most that could ever be drained from any one of his players.
Did you see the move he made on Dan Kepley? He only beat James Parker, McLeod, and Kepley on that play.
The Ottawa offensive line is now whipping that great defensive front line of the Edmonton Eskimos.
It is Ottawa 20, Edmonton nothing, with 11:46 left to play in the first half. And Grey Cup 81 from Montreal returns in a moment. The question has to be asked, who are the guys in the white sweaters? They can't be the team that won 5 games during the regular season, but they're 2-0 in the playoffs. As Tony Gabriel said, this is a brand new season. It sure is. Ottawa 20, Edmonton nothing.
I think there might be some emotion involved.
This is Hayes from his 7-yard line. Out to about the 31, and that's where the Eskimos will begin.
And gentlemen, Tom Wilkinson has been warming up on the sideline, so obviously Hugh Campbell is going to try. The old man of the quarterbacking corps and the man who's led this Edmonton club to so many victories.
I think a good move by Coach Hugh Campbell, and for no other reason than to just let Warren Moon sit out for a little bit, calm down, get under control, see what Wilkie can do in the meantime. Warren Moon may be back. We don't know. Wilkie can certainly do it on his own, even if Moon doesn't come back.
Inside to Germany, no room. Doug Seymour was there first.
Tell you one thing Wilkie can't do, he can't block.
That's right.
And Jim Piaskowski. Seymour and Piaskowski, 61 and 73, make the stop. And the loss is about a yard.
Pat, I think that Mike is absolutely right. Brancato is getting more than some of these people have.
Jim Piaskowski was a man at the beginning of the year that the coaching staff were very concerned about. Boy, he's been a tower of strength alongside Raines and Marshall now.
2nd and 11. Wilkie fires, complete to Lumsden. But Bill Mitchell will not let him go. And again, Hank Kalisic will come in to punt for the Eskimos. I'd like to remind everybody that this program is copyright and is strictly for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, in whole or in part, without the express written consent of the CBC and CTV television networks is strictly prohibited.
And that is aimed particularly at Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Well, believe it or not, it is. Ottawa 20, Edmonton nothing, and the Eskimos will be punting again. Kirk and Braisley inside the Ottawa 30 to receive this punt. High twisting spiral. Braisley at his 20-yard line. Gets out over the 25 to about the 26. Wendell Smith was first down to knock the pins out from under him. And Ottawa takes over again offensively. They've been brilliant.
Pat, you've been a little closer to the official stats. How many first downs have the Eskimos got in the first quarter and a half of this ball game?
1, I believe.
That's what I thought. Unbelievable. The highest scoring team in the history of the Canadian Football League, 576 points. They have 1 first down.
With 10 minutes left to play in the first half. Ottawa from their 26. The give is to Platt. Platt running like a herd of elephants out to the 45-yard line. And another Ottawa first down as they continue to rip to shreds that Edmonton front line.
Just a great block by Staub, the right offensive tackle, Pat Staub, number 65. He just does a job on Moon. Watch him. He's a right tackle. There is Moon. There's Boone, I should say. Moon's on the bench. What a great job he did.
The 10th first down for the Riders as they start now with a screen to Reed. It's another Ottawa first down. Into the Edmonton 40-yard line. Mike McLeod again makes the tackle.
The right side of that offensive line, Frank, has been outstanding. You talked about Pat Staub. On that previous running play, Val Belcher had shut off Dave Fennell. Those same people, Staub, Belcher, also Larry Titley, coming around that corner, doing an excellent job and paving the way for Reed.
Jim Reed from Wilfrid Laurier gives you 100% every time he's on the field, and you saw it on that last run. 11 first downs for Ottawa, 1 for Edmonton. Riders with the ball at the Eskimo 40-yard line. Watts swings it out to Reed. He couldn't grab it. It was a little too low. And JC is furious with himself. He's been brilliant.
I think it's pretty obvious that the Eskimos came into this ball game feeling that they could bring their front four, put enough pressure on Watts and just try and contain him inside. They have not been effective in doing that on most occasions.
2nd and 10 as you look at Watts' passing statistics, 9 out of 14 for 158 yards. Going deep for Kelvin Kirk. It is picked off in the end zone by Mike McLeod. And McLeod goes down on one knee. And the Eskimos will have possession at their 10-yard line.
Throwing into a crowd, Pat, it's one thing J.C. Watts last week did not do is take too many chances. But really, he was throwing with a hope and a prayer on that one because the intended receiver was well covered on the play. The ball, as it turned out, was overthrown, and McLeod, just playing deep middle, was able to pick it off.
We've got 8 minutes, 10 seconds left to play in the first half. As we take a look at one of the beautiful automobiles that will be awarded to the outstanding offensive and outstanding defensive players of this game. And at this point, there is no doubt that both are on the squad of the Ottawa Rough Riders. Wilkie puts it up for Brian Kelly. He's made the reception and gives Edmonton a first down to the 25-yard line. Let's go to Brian Williams.
Pat, Mike was talking about the right side of the Ottawa line. This is right guard Val Belcher. You guys are just tearing up that Edmonton line.
Well, we thought we could run the ball on them. We ran the ball on them pretty well the last time we played them. We run a few traps and draws up the middle there, and the guys are really working hard. We have confidence in what we're doing, and it was real fortunate we got off to a good start to give the guy the confidence. I think we're going to win this daggone ball game. It was like, hi, Mom.
From the 24-yard line, Wilkie puts it up complete to Marco Sinkar, and he's ridden out by Larry Brune, number 30.
The Eskimos now are bringing Marco Sinkar in motion to the same side as Scott, which is forcing Hardy off of single coverage on Scott, and they're just trying to stymie him in between the two slot backs when they flood that one side.
The gain was about 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and 5. Eskimos, the ball at their 29.
One thing Wilkie is doing, though, Mike, I think you'll agree, he's being patient. He's taking what they give him, and that's a sign, of course, of a veteran quarterback.
Wilkie wanting to go deep, and this one was very nearly picked off by Carl Bracely. The intended receiver was Brian Kelly, but the ball was over his head.
Well, just after I say that, he tries to go for the whole bundle.
I'll tell you, this Ottawa defense is absolutely amazing. We've seen it now week in and week out as they've come down to the final stretch.
They obviously thought they had Bracely set up for that out-and-up pattern by Kelly, but he was right there. No question about it.
Well, he's not taking gas on the field. He's maybe getting a little oxygen on the bench, though.
That must be Superman.
Played like it today.
Lissick, the hero of the ball game so far for the Eskimos, but the only thing they've been doing well.
And he does it well again. This is Bracely all the way back at his 23. And he was horse-collared by Leo Blanchard, number 59, and so Ottawa will be starting at their 27-yard line when we return. This is Grey Cup 81 from Montreal. 6 minutes, 46 seconds left to play in this first half. It is Ottawa 20, Edmonton no score. George Brancato says he's not much of a coach. Holy jumping.
Coach of the century, that's all.
Boy. Ottawa starting from their 28-yard line. Flag comes down as Watts delivers to Pat Stokely. And Stokely is out to the 48-yard line, but there was a flag down on the field.
I'll tell you, it's a great pass. He hit Stokely perfectly. We'll see what happens on the call. Looks like it's coming back.
Going to be holding against the Ottawa Rough Riders, I believe. It appeared to me that Dave Fennell, middle of that Edmonton line, was the person being held.
Number 14, Ottawa.
It's a procedure call against Pat Stokewell.
Well, there's always holding. You know that, Frank. You can call it almost any time you want. So
David definitely was being held on the play.
Well, there's Dr. Freddie Davies, who's been associated with the Ottawa Football Club since 1948. This is his 9th Grey Cup, and Dr. Freddie says, that's it, I'm finished with today's ball game, and I hope we win it. Well, they're well on their way right now. Ottawa out in front, 20-0.
His father delivered me.
Is that right?
That's right. I should say my mother.
This is Sam Platt. And Platt gets to the 25 or 26 before Tommy Towns and James Parker wrap him up at that point. So he'll gain a couple. It'll be second and about 13 yards for Ottawa's first down. 5 minutes, 50 seconds left to play in the half. Look at the offense. 2:11 to 39. But let's not forget one thing. The Edmonton Eskimos are the highest scoring team in CFL history. 20 points doesn't look like much to them. Watts delivers, and actually I think he threw that one away.
I don't think there's any question about it. He's in trouble, and he just didn't want to give up the yardage.
Dr. Death was the guy that put the pressure on him. David Fennell. They have not been getting that good a pressure on Watts, but Mike, there isn't any question he's a very difficult type of quarterback to try and get that rush on. Not only the fact that he can move around so well, but he's been getting rid of the football very quickly.
Very, very quickly. But, you know, this Edmonton team, Frank, it's just so experienced, so good. You have a feeling that they're never going to be out of it. There's always an opportunity for them to regroup. And when you see them come together like they did defensively in that last sequence, you can maybe get the sense of it beginning.
They should end up with pretty good field position.
Almost have the feeling they need one break at the start of
the ball, but was able to get it back quickly. And Edmonton will take over at their 46-yard line. John Glassford and Rick Sovieta were down quickly to cover that punt for Ottawa.
Here's another near mistake by the Edmonton Eskimos, but Emilio Fraieta was quick to get on top of it.
Ronnie Harrison, our director, said that was a heads-up play. The ball hit him on the head.
That's why he's in the truck and we're up here.
From the 46, the Eskimos begin. Jim Germany trying to pick his way through that very tough Ottawa front four, and he gets to about the 50 for a gain of 4 yards. Seymour, Glassford, Raines, they were all there. Been a tremendous first half for the Ottawa Rough Riders. They lead it 20-0 with 4:28 left to play in this first 30 minutes.
I'm sure you gentlemen would both agree it's very important for the Eskimos to put something on the board before this halftime's over.
And they're capable of doing it at any moment, too. Waddell Smith bobbling the ball as he stepped out of bounds.
Well, I'll tell you, it's questionable whether or not he had control going out, because you saw that ball go way up in the air. I will say, though, the official had blown the whistle just as he was going out. We'll take another look, Frank.
I thought he had it, Mike, and then started fumbling it once he was out of bounds. Here it is. Well,
close. Close.
Certainly was.
Thank God we're not paid to make those calls.
Exactly. They are going to be a foot or so short, and the Eskimos will be gambling with 4 minutes left in the first half.
It is third and about a foot for the first down. The ball at the Ottawa 54. Warren Moon at quarterback takes it and goes straight ahead, and the Eskimos will have the first down. Brazeley's been around. Carl Brazeley, of course, began with the Montreal Alouettes this year, then was acquired by Ottawa and has done a big job, as all of those new recruits have.
Warren Moon was in only in that short yardage play, so Tom Wilkinson will resume the quarterbacking duties.
The measurement shows indeed it is an Eskimo first down. The ball at the Ottawa 53-yard line with 3:47 left to play in the half. Ottawa touchdowns by Sam Platt and Jim Reed, and 2 Jerry Organ field goals. Wilkinson complete to Neil Lumsden, and Lumsden is hauled down as he gets to the Ottawa 44 by Rick Sovieta, number 75.
Vito Panic continues to amaze that they can cover the likes of Scott, Smith, and Kelly almost every play.
They're having to go to their backs now, working against the linebackers. Sovieta does a pretty good job, but Lumsden does pick up about, a good 8 yards.
So make it 2nd and 2, Eskimos. The ball inside the Ottawa 45-yard line. Scott and Kelly go in motion. They give us inside to Lumsden, and he'll be very close to the first down. It's Ottawa out in front of the Eskimos 20-0. Our telecast of Grey Cup 81 resumes in a moment. Ottawa fans across the country pretty excited at the display of their Rough Riders to this point. They're out in front 20-0, and for the second time in this drive, Warren Moon has to come in and see if he can get the first down on 3rd and inches. Moon takes it himself, and he'll have the first down for the Eskimos.
Tell you, they're having to work for everything now.
We've got 2 minutes, 31 seconds left to play in the first half. The Eskimos maintaining control. The ball now at the Ottawa 39.5-yard line.
The Rider defense sometimes employing 6 backs. You'll see Sovieta occasionally go out. Glenn Cook come in as the extra back, but right now they're going with Sovieta.
Wilkinson over the middle to Neil Lumsden. And Lumsden is into the Ottawa 26-yard line. John Glassford hauled him down at that point, but it's another Eskimo first down.
Just a great job by Sinkar and Tommy Scott at clearing out that middle area. You may pick it up from this end zone camera. Just a quick roll to the right here by Wilkie, and he's definitely looking back for Neil Lumsden all the way.
Well, the Rider defense is so conscious of that inside passing attack that the Eskimos are dropping off pretty quickly when they read pass. Wilkinson now is taking advantage of it.
The pass is complete to Marco Sinkar at the 19-yard line, and Larry Brune hauls him down immediately. The gain will be 6 or 7.
You know how important Tommy Scott has been to the Eskimo attack. Tommy Scott has been virtually non-existent in their offensive attack so far in the first half. Ottawa is taking that away. They're going to alternate things now. Wilkinson's getting them going, but they aren't doing the things that have been the hallmark of their success through the course of the season.
It is 2nd and 3. Eskimos, the ball at the Ottawa 18-yard line. Inside to Jim Germany. Rick Sovieta and Jim Piaskowski wrap him up very close to the first down marker, which is just outside the 15. And they'll bring the chains out.
We are down to 1 minute and 38 seconds left in this first half. Ottawa 20, Edmonton 0.
And I don't know that I've ever seen Jim Piaskowski play better. He's been really tough, giving Hector Poitier a rough go for these first 2 quarters, and he kept them short by close to a yard.
Mike, I think you can almost echo that about the whole front four of the Ottawa Rough Riders. They've done an excellent job.
In fact, I'd say they have a little over a yard to go.
Boy, this could be the biggest play of their year right here if they could stop them.
Cutler has come out.
They brought Cutler in, a very conservative move by the Eskimos.
And I'll tell you, a big play by Piaskowski to force them into it.
The field goal will come from the 23.5-yard line if indeed they go through with it. Cutler is wide. Dave Cutler is wide for 23.5 yards. And so Ottawa gives up but a single point with 1 minute and 14 seconds left to play in the half. It is now Ottawa 20, Edmonton 1.
And you think that is going to pump up that Rider club, Frank? A big defensive play by Piaskowski stops the drive, forces them to try to get on the scoreboard with at least 3, because Huey Campbell felt they had to get something out of this half, and they only came up with 1.
The Eskimos almost look like they're laying back waiting for a break to go their way before trying to pour it on. They certainly haven't been able to so far.
Ottawa starts from their 35-yard line. Watch throws. Jeff Avery makes the catch at about the 37 to 38. He was under great pressure from Ron Este, number 55, but Watts was able to get the ball away.
This is Ron Este coming from the middle of that defensive line of the Edmonton Eskimos, and there are not many quarterbacks in any league that could have avoided this rush.
I'll tell you,
Este can move.
I'll tell you, I'm surprised he's even throwing, Frank, to be quite honest with you, with a minute left in the first half and the lead they have. I know it's how they put the points on the boards, but right now I think you'd want to preserve that 19-point lead.
Gives to Sam Platt, and Platt dives across the 40 to about the 41 before Dan Kepley makes the hit. Tom Wilkinson, who came on in the second quarter to quarterback the Eskimos, has his warm-up jacket on, but I expect we'll see him now as Jerry Organ will be punting for the Rough Riders with 48 seconds showing on the clock. Eskimos look like they're going to come on this punt. Let's watch and see if they do. Organ gets it away and angles it toward Marco Sincar at the 30. And Sincar is dropped by Ian Ward as he gets to the 35. So there are 38 seconds left to play in the first half.
To show you how everything's been going wrong with the Edmonton Eskimos, that injury you alluded to earlier of Jim Germany, where he tore the nail off his finger, occurred yesterday when their team bus got stuck in the snow. They had to push it up a hill in the small snowstorm we had in Montreal yesterday. When he went to get back in the bus, the driver didn't realize he was there, and he closed the door on his finger. And Jim's having a little trouble with that finger now.
The Ottawa defense has closed the door on the Eskimo offense to this point. Wilkinson throws. It is complete to Neil Lumsden to about the 48-yard line. John Glassford hammered him immediately. It is short of the first down. The Eskimos will not huddle with 33 seconds showing on the clock.
Pat, all of a sudden, Neil Lumsden has become the primary receiver for the Eskimos. That shows you how good a job Ottawa's doing downfield.
Pass is complete to Brian Kelly for the first down to the Eskimo 50, and he steps out of bounds immediately to stop the clock with 28 seconds left to play in the half.
And also, Frank, as you know, the Eskimos like to go to Germany a lot out of the backfield. They probably are not as inclined to do so because of that frozen finger. So again, they'll be using Lumsden more and more.
First down, Edmonton. The ball at the Eskimo 50. Wilkinson throws. Liddell Smith tried to make a diving catch, could not do so. And that took just 4 seconds. 24 seconds left to play in the first half.
Wilkie's throwing the kind of patterns right now where it's impossible to get a rush on him. He's delivering that ball within 2.5 to 3 seconds.
He's got a long ways to go, though, Frank, in just 24 seconds with those 6- and 7-yard outs.
Exactly. If I was Ottawa, I'd let him have them all day.
Or certainly for the next 24 seconds.
Good point.
That can be all day sometimes.
Pass is complete to Sincar, and a fine open field tackle by John Sutton as he cut the legs out from under him.
Boy, you don't see too many Rider mistakes in this first half, do you? Every time they come up and they take a shot, it works. John Sutton lunged for that tackle. Had he missed, it could have been a big gainer, but it worked.
And the gain was 7 yards, so on 3rd and 3 and 19 seconds showing on the clock, Angelo Santucci comes in, Jim Germany goes out, and the Eskimos are going to huddle up.
Patrick, prior to the game, several Rough Rider players told me if they went into the dressing room trailing by 10 points or less, they'd be happy. This is beyond their wildest expectations.
This will be the final play of the half, and Wilkie's going deep for it. It is knocked away by Carl Graisley. It was intended for Waddell Smith, but the Ottawa Rough Riders, to a standing ovation, leave the field of play with a 20-1 halftime lead.
Jerry Organ awaiting the signal to get this second half underway. And Ron, you don't suppose that George would have enough nerve to onside kick him in the second half, do you?
No, I don't think so. Right now you got things going your way. Let's not upset the tempo of the game. Let it go. They're playing it too well to, take any chances right now.
There it goes deep.
Emilio Fraietta starting out from his own 20-yard line, hit right at the 28-yard line. Jim Reed was downfield, a punishing tackle on Emilio Fraietta. Jim Reed with a touchdown this afternoon, and on those special teams, a big hit for Ottawa.
No doubt there. He came down the field. Fraietta tried to cut around him, and he really stuck him with that shoulder pad right there, put him on his back, and this is the kind of things Ottawa need right now to keep that momentum, because each half's a new game.
1st and 10 for Edmonton. An injured Edmonton player, and Warren Moon is out there to start the second half at quarterback. It appears as though Fraietta was shaken up on that hit by Jim Reed.
Those kind of hits can shake you up.
They'll take some starch out of you, and that's an indication right now that Ottawa's going to be ready to play the second half also. They're higher than kites out there.
I tell you, though, Leo, they're a little bit more tense.
Fraietta getting the ball and starting up the field. He's got a pretty good wedge formed in front of him, but bang, look at that hit right there, and he goes down, and there's no question about that. His momentum was stopped, and he ended up on his back. That was a solid hit.
Siskiyous Junior College in Weed, California. The school that produced Emilio Fraietta as far as his football talents are concerned. He is a native of Edmonton. Warren Moon with just one completion through the first half. Moon runs with the ball exceptionally well, but not when John Glassford is there to stop him.
There's a great open field tackle by Glassford, and Moon, as we've seen so often all year, went up to Glassford and made that spin that usually allows him to avoid those tacklers, but Glassford just stayed with a nice wide base defensively, made the hit and stayed with it.
He sent his receivers deep downfield, running the sidelines, but he got outside of containment, but he pulled the ball down, and it was a good idea that he did. And there's Hugh Campbell. He's got to be worried about what's going on out here. He needs a first down right now.
2nd and 10 from the 28. Moon throwing deep. It's picked off by Billy Hardy. It was intended for Kelly, and Billy Hardy is going to get a good return. He is back to the 49 of the Edmonton Eskimos. Billy Hardy, a defensive back acquired by Ottawa late in the season from Toronto, with an interception to start this second half and give more momentum to Ottawa.
Great position right there by Hardy on the inside, Sutton on the outside. Hardy gets the ball, comes right back up the field now and is hit pretty hard here, but he didn't feel that one at all, because that's a big interception to turn around this second half already.
He threw that ball into double coverage. He threw that ball where that free safety Hardy could get to it right there.
1st and 10, Ottawa at the Edmonton 49. 20-1 is the score in favor of the Rough Riders. Setting up the screen to Sam Platt. He has to go back in the middle. He is hit by Kepley and driven back to the midfield stripe. There'll be a loss on the play depending on where the officials mark the ball, and that is why Dan Kepley has been a 3-time Shenley Award winner.
He took a great hit by Kepley on this play, but he had great balance, and he kept his balance, and he would have got away from this had not Tom Towns, I believe, made the tackle when he came back.
In 77, 79, and again in 80, Kepley has been chosen the country's outstanding defensive player. This time, the Edmonton defense reacts very well, dropping the Ottawa Rough Rider ball carrier were Ron Este and Tom Towns. Sam Platt driven back to his own 50-yard line. It will now be, well, they mark at the 49-yard line. It will be third and a whole bunch for the Ottawa Rough Riders. It's a cool day at Olympic Stadium in Montreal, but that does not deter George Brancato from heading to the ice bucket.
I'll tell you one thing, the way they're hitting this first part of this second half, there's not going to be any flags down there for unnecessary kindness.
Emilio Fraietta and Marco Sincar to receive the third down punt by Jerry Organ. He hangs it high. It's taken by Emilio Fraietta. He's going back towards his own goal line. He'll lose on that attempted return. He's dropped back at the 7-yard line.
20-1 is the score in favor of Ottawa, and Grey Cup 81 from Montreal returns in a moment. Well, wherever you're looking in this afternoon on either the CBC or CTV television network, we hope you're enjoying Grey Cup coverage from Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Completion to Kelly, first down. He goes out at the 25-yard line. John Sutton was the man who ran him out of bounds. Hugh Campbell attempting to do something no other coach before him has done, win 4 consecutive Grey Cups.
No, Don, it's critical that they get out of this end of the end zone right now. Rolls out here, and he throws the ball extremely well. Sutton came up late on the thing, but it was a well-coordinated, well-orchestrated pass here to Kelly. Got the first down. They've got to get out of this end and improve their field position in order to get some points on the board quickly in this third half, or their third quarter, I should say.
From the 24-yard line, complete to Neil Lumsden. He is stopped at the 32 by William Mitchell, the linebacker.
That Ottawa defense just sits deep. They forced Moon to throw that ball underneath the Lumsden, and that's what Moon hadn't done in the first half and early in that interception earlier in the quarter. He wants to go deep too fast. Wilkie came in the second quarter, and he moved the ball by taking advantage of what they gave him. This is what Moon has to do.
That defense is coming hard around that front four. There's a lot of stunning in the middle there between Seymour and Raines. Those defensive ends are coming like gangbusters.
2nd and 2 from the 32. Moon runs for the first down. He is across the 35. I believe they'll mark it just across the 35. He was then driven back by William Mitchell, but it will be an Edmonton first down with 11:10. The time left to play in quarter 3.
He's got a lot of time to throw. He steps up in the pocket. He's got an opening in front of him. He gets the first down, and then he just gets raced for the hit, but he does make the first down, and that's something that they've got to put together, 3 or 4 of those. Warren Moon's not into the game yet. He hasn't had anything go his way, and the longer it takes, the harder it is.
As long as they can keep him from getting to the outside, they're going to be safe. They'll give him those 6- and 7-yard gains.
Quickly over the middle, Jim Germany, and he'll get another Edmonton first down.
That was a question right there of being uncovered coming out there. Moon, as smart as he is, as we talked about before the show, just dropped right straight back quickly, saw him uncovered, and gave him the ball immediately right there.
John Glassford was rushing back to cover Scott coming to the inside, and Germany just slipped right underneath him, and Moon dumped him the ball.
They'll nickel and dime you to death if you give them those uncovered receivers like that, and then when you move out there to stop those receivers, watch Lumsden and Germany coming on the inside.
At the 51, it's 1st and 10, Edmonton. Santucci in there for Germany. Tommy Scott, the intended receiver. It will be 2nd and 10. Germany went to the sidelines. He had some equipment problems, but he is going to go back in. And undoubtedly, he is bringing in instructions from head coach Hugh Campbell as Santucci goes back to the bench.
Moon got outside, but he got tremendous pressure that time from the Ottawa defensive line, mainly Piaskowski, and he threw the ball not a good throw. Scott couldn't get near that one.
Well, they are really well prepared for this ball game, emotionally, mentally, physically, and as far as their game plan is concerned.
9:53, the time remaining in the third quarter. 20-1. Ottawa leads at 2nd and 10. Edmonton from the 51. Incomplete. Good defensive play by Hardy. The pass intended for Tommy Scott.
He broke well on the ball. Scott hooked. The ball was thrown low, and Scott does so often, goes down to make the catch. But Hardy broke real fast on it, and he came right over the top, knocked it down.
That was an interesting comment by Billy Hardy. 50 games in a Toronto uniform. He said, I usually headed home at the conclusion of the season. 6 games with Ottawa, and here I am in a Grey Cup.
Well, he finally found out what this league's all about, Don.
3rd down, Edmonton. Alisic back at his own 35. Carl Braisley retreats to his 9. Braisley finds some room up the sidelines and runs it out to the 27-yard line.
Good block down there by Sovieta. He's always in the middle of those kicking teams. Probably the best special team man in the East as far as I'm concerned. He and Kirk both. Now Kirk is more the ball carrier on the special teams, but as far as the tackler and getting down there and doing the job is concerned, Sovieta's done a tremendous job.
A 50-yard kick and an 18-yard return. 1st and 10, Ottawa. The Rough Riders at their own 27. 9:12, time left to play in the third quarter. Ottawa leads 20-1. Tony Gabriel makes the reception, but there is a penalty flag. Tom Towns brought down the veteran tight end. However, there is a penalty flag on the play. It was thrown in the Ottawa backfield, usually an indication of offensive holding. Well, there have been all sorts of rumors about George Brancato and what the future may hold for him. I think if he's successful today, he could probably write his own ticket.
Edmonton played his own defense. Gabriel just went underneath it. Watt just dumped the ball in a hurry to the open man. And if he can get rid of the ball like that, Gabriel's always going to gain yards for you.
Yeah, that sore leg certainly has impeded his second effort, Ron.
No, he's going to have that for you. You know that.
Penalty, however, wipes out the gain at first and 20. Watt's in some trouble, throwing deep. Well, did they make an interception or not? The official was standing right there, the Edmonton coaching staff and players right there as well. However, they rule an incomplete pass. He apparently trapped it over on the far side of the field. And that's a break for the Ottawa Rough Riders.
I think Watts was just really in trouble this time, and at the last moment, I think he tried to waste this pass because he didn't have that much on it and it was kind of dangerously thrown. I think he was trying to throw it out of bounds, but they got over there and almost made the interception on the thing.
Calvin Kirk was the intended receiver. Joe Holloman the defender. Second and 20. And the Ottawa Rough Riders will be forced to kick it away. Do I detect perhaps just a change in momentum in this game here?
Not yet. I don't think so. Edmonton's only put together those 2 first downs. I don't think there's any change yet. Edmonton's got to get something going for them to change the momentum, and right now they haven't done that.
Well, the one thing that has been established here, Ron, in the exchange is that Alisic has won as far as the punting is concerned, because Ottawa now is going to be kicking from almost in their end zone. So they're giving up some field position here, which is always very important early in the third quarter.
The Eskimos will have good field position here. This is the time.
They sure will.
Oregon standing at his own 2-yard line.
They're coming after it.
Marietta fields it at the 50. They will have excellent field position at the 40-yard line of the Ottawa Rough Riders. This is Grey Cup 81 from Olympic Stadium in Montreal. From our overhead view of Olympic Stadium, you see on the streets of Montreal some of the snow that fell yesterday and on Friday. None of evidence inside Olympic Stadium, and Jim Germany breaks his way inside the 35 to the 34. Rick Sovieta and John Glassford combined talents in the stop.
Edmonton got all the flow going to the wide side. Just hand the ball to Germany, and he just runs the daylight. And Doug Seymour put a real good hit on him that time.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, that Sovieta is really wound up today. The only Grey Cup he's ever seen is when his wife didn't polish the silverware.
On second down, Moon, I should say, is going to try and run for the first down. The ball appeared to squirt away from him, but Moon managed to recover. And it will be a first down.
Moon just back to pass again. He's looking around, but he gets pressure from the outside. He goes up the middle, but gets away from one man, gets down to the ground. Ball escapes late.
His escape pattern is indicative, Ron.
All right. Bill Stevenson?
Well, we're going to talk to David Boone right after this play.
First down. Moon chased by Glassford and taken out of bounds.
That was a great open field tackle right there. I was going to say before that his escape pattern is pretty indicative that they're coming from the outside and leaving the inside open. Now down to Bill Stevenson.
All right, David, I want to know what this Edmonton club wants to do in the second half. How you think you change things about it?
First of all, we want to win the second half. And the thing we're doing is we're trying to overcome our mistakes and play as a team. Maybe we came out a little bit too much individually minded. Now you're going to see us gel as a team.
Second and 6, Edmonton. Over the middle to Lumsden. Lumsden has the first down to the 15-yard line.
He used his head this time. He just rolled back a little bit, let those linebackers get deep, then Lumsden slips out underneath it to see him come back. You see the linebackers disappear out of the picture. Lumsden just sneaks underneath them. He dumps him the ball. Then it's just his running ability that gets the first down.
They swing the other back, the running back, out to the left that time, Ron, which takes the middle linebacker that direction. And then Lunsford swings into the right behind the stunt in the middle.
First and 10, Edmonton from the 15.
Just a great catch right there. Moons maybe shouldn't even have thrown the ball. He started to throw, he held it up, and then at the last second he let it go. You'll watch him, he'll pump it. He gets ready, he can't find it, and then he just throws it at the last second. Scott goes high, takes a great hit right there, but he hangs on to the ball.
And Ronnie, how many times have I heard you say that Kelly catches the big catches, but Scott catches the important ones? That's another one right there, boy. Well, he could have dropped that very easily.
He finds the hole right there, and he's working to get himself to an open area. He gets a hit by Sutton, but they're in the goal line area.
Back to the live action, first and goal. Germany fighting for the goal line. He stopped about a yard short by Greg Marshall, the defensive end.
I think Germany was complaining a little bit about somebody had a hold of his nose guard, giving him a little twist that time too. I saw it from here, but the referees didn't see it.
You saw it from here?
Absolutely, I got the good eyes.
When you run down in that area, they grab anything.
4:24 is the time remaining in the third quarter. 20-1. The Ottawa Rough Riders lead. And this is the goal line view of the 2nd and 1 situation confronting the Edmonton Eskimos. They've got a touchdown. Jim Germany diving into the end zone as the Edmonton Eskimos score their first touchdown of Grey Cup 81.
Nothing fancy about that. They sent those backs out of there in motion. They just lead that lead back, and Germany just takes off from about the 2, and it's going to be very hard to keep a man out when he gets all that weight and momentum going forward.
And it's nice to have that 235-pound Lumsden going in there in front of you. We'll watch it here again. There's Lumsden, number 32 now, and all his job is just to look for any white shirt penetration in there, stop the penetration, and let Germany go over the top.
Takes anything that shows in there, and if his own man gets in the way, that's too bad.
That's right. He'll get the official once in a while, too.
Well, I said about 3 minutes ago, Ron, is the momentum shifting? I asked the same question again.
That hurts you a little bit. When you're playing on a lot of emotion, and you've got to give the field position up, and they put it in the end zone, you've got to come back now. And if they don't come back after this kickoff with a couple big plays, yeah, the momentum is definitely shifted.
We saw this team against the BC Lions show championship form when it was pretty close out there. And this is another ball game here where they're not going to be denied. They're going to give it their best shot. They didn't get to be champions by losing, and they know that.
Well, they can't afford to lose this guy. He's played outstanding football for them all year, and he's done a good job today on that big sack early in the game.
Dave Cutler with the point after. And the Ottawa Rough Rider lead has been reduced to 12 points.
I've got to agree with Mike Wadsworth. You know, when this football team starts putting some points on the board and when they start getting a little bit aggressive, you've got to take into consideration that they've scored so many points in so many different ways this year that you're never safe at this stage of the ball game.
You know, you look back to the game on July 19th where they had the roof fall in against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They trailed 32-7 at halftime, but they managed to come back, and the final score was 38-28 in favor of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. In a game that they tied against the Hamilton Tiger Cats going into the fourth quarter, it was 24-10, and the Eskimos scored 24 points in the fourth quarter. The final score 34-34. So this team is capable of exploding at any point in the ball game.
And at any time and on either side of the ball. And that's the thing that Ottawa has to be careful about right now. They got the ball, but they don't want to turn it over.
Braisley goes into the end zone to return this David Cutler kickoff. And he is down at the 22-yard line with 3:59 remaining in the third quarter by Dan Kearns and Tom Towns. And Braisley is shaken up.
He took a heck of a shot coming out of there with that kickoff right there. And Boy, those Eskimos were down. They got him just around the 23, 24-yard line. Is excellent coverage on a kickoff. You can see Brazeley takes it. He's looking for some place to run. He gets behind his wall, and now it's just up to him to find daylight. But the Edmonton Eskimos start to converge right there. You'll see Towns come over the top, and they put him down pretty hard.
This would be a critical loss at this time with the type of a passing attack that Edmonton has. Brazeley can't afford to be out of that ball game, and it looks from all indications like they're testing that knee, which is not really a good indication at this time. We'll see when he gets up on his feet as to how well he can move.
Wilkie's reminding Moon of the lessons now. It's time to play.
You know, and Wilkie's saying to Moon, he's saying, that car out there, he said, if you don't do a good job, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to win it away from you, so...
And Brazeley is having some difficulties with what appears to be his right knee, or just below it.
Well, I'm not sure that's not a cramp the way they're working on it, pushing that foot up like that.
They're not being particularly tender with him, so I would suspect that nothing is broken. It could very well be a cramp. At first, when they were working on his leg, it appeared as though he may have damaged an ankle. But now, Ron, you may be correct in assessing it as a cramp to his right leg.
Well, you certainly hope so. It's hard to say just what they're doing, you know. He seems to be in a little bit of pain down there, but, you know, cramps are painful, but you never know when you get hit in the leg. Sometimes they just go dead.
Well, I think, you know what they ought to do at this time? They just ought to have George Brancato go out there and lay his hand on him.
20-8 is the score with 3:59 remaining in the third quarter. Ottawa leads Edmonton, and Grey Cup 81 from Montreal returns in a moment. Well, as Carl Brazeley makes his way to the Ottawa bench, let's go to the Edmonton bench and Bill Stevenson.
And Jim Germany, who may have given the club the emotion they needed with that touchdown. Jim, tell us about it.
Well, it was just a basic blast play up the middle. It was excellent blocking. Neil was the lead blocker. I just dove over the top. We needed that touchdown. I hope that would set the team on fire, and hopefully we could come back and try to pull this game out.
This club seems now to have the emotion it did not have in the first half, Jim.
Well, I tell you what, Ottawa came out and surprised us, and we sort of...
Let's go to the field. We'll be back in a moment.
Well, if Jim Germany's touchdown was to provide inspiration, Ron Este responded.
That's just a super play right there. The Ottawa football team's got to move the ball in this series of downs. They don't want to turn it over around that 40-yard line again and give Edmonton the chance now to really get things their way. That was a big, big play for the Eskimos, but it really hurt Ottawa.
They need a first down here badly, Ron, to improve that field position down here.
You better be careful with that 2nd and 30 or whatever that is.
JC will get it for you.
Watts taking off. He fumbles the football. It's loose. Picked up by the Edmonton Eskimos at the 3. Dale Potter pounced on the loose football.
Well, that's just what they didn't want to have happen down there. That is a critical, critical place to turn that ball over, especially to a team like the Eskimos that are trying to get back on their feet. And it looks like the momentum's their favor. Ottawa seems to have lost a little of their emotion. Watts rolls to his left again. He tries to cut inside. Kempley's going to come in from the side, and he gets hit on the other side by Parker, and the ball falls loose. Ottawa looks like they're going to pick it up, but Dale Potter finds it about the 3.
Well, you know, Watts has run that option play 8 million times at Oklahoma, and one thing he knows for sure, when he's running to his left side, you don't carry the ball in his right hand. He carried the ball in an exposed position and got it knocked loose.
So now it's 1st and goal, Edmonton from the 3-yard line. Neil Lumsden stopped at the goal line. There was also a penalty flag on the play. It would appear that an illegal procedure call will be assessed against the Edmonton Eskimos.
Well, I can see something like that happening out there if it's against Edmonton out on the flanks, if they're throwing the ball, and it might have been a pick play or something. But I don't see any advisability in doing something like that out there away from the play. We just got too much crowd noise here. We can't hear a thing. It looked like it was illegal. What was it, Ron? Did you notice?
Illegal procedure.
Illegal procedure.
So that moves the ball back to the 8-yard line. It will be 1st and goal from that point. 2:30 the time left in this third quarter. 20-8 is the score. It was 20-1 at halftime. in favor of the Ottawa Rough Riders.
Watch for him looking for Scott right here.
Pass is complete at the 3-yard line. Marco Sincar on the receiving end of the throw.
That's a tough pass to cover. There's nothing fancy there. He just goes down about 3 steps, breaks out. Moon just takes a quick roll. He throws it right on the money, and the defensive back's in good position, but there's not much you're going to do about that.
That's what we call a sprint right pass, where they just go down and just bend right out, and he just sprints out to them and leads them away from the defensive coverage and go for the first down.
So now it's second and goal from the 3. That's the point where they started this series after the fumble recovery before the penalty. Moon rolling to his left. He should score. No, he stopped short. He does not score. I thought he would make it, but he was stopped short. John Sutton was the man who stopped him from crossing the goal line. It appeared as though he had room to get into the end zone, but he was stopped.
You can't say enough about the play Sutton just made. He come up out of that end zone, and he put the head down, and he was going to cut Moon off at the corner, and he did, straight on. Let's hope he's not hurt too bad. Moon gets the good block that he needs on the outside, and he gets outside clean, and now it's just a race. Sovietta's coming after him, and he's going to try to sneak into the end zone, and you're going to see Sutton come in here with his head down right there, and he stopped him short, but he paid for it.
Well, they can't afford to have 2 of those guy defensive backs out of there. They're in really, really sad trouble.
John Sutton, the injured back. Carl Braisley was shaken up earlier in this quarter.
Let's look at it once again. You're going to see Lumsden outside. He makes a great block and cuts the defensive end and gets Moon outside, and he thinks he can run to that end zone. He's going to try to sneak in here down low, but Sutton gets underneath him right there and stops the penetration.
I don't think that Kelly anticipated Sutton coming up from behind him. Had Kelly simply turned around, he could have thrown the block that would have allowed Moon to get into the end zone.
And something else, I don't think he anticipated Sutton being able to stop Moon that quick.
And Art Darts just pointed out to me that Braisley's back in the ball game too, over on the other corner, number 7. And boy, I'll tell you, Ron, he must have had a cramp or something, because when he got up, he put on the best show for anybody being hurt that I've ever seen. Maybe he was just trying to throw off the Edmonton Eskimos.
Well, Glenn Cook into the ball game as Jonathan Sutton makes his way to the Ottawa bench, and he is groggy. It will be third and goal from the 1-yard line.
There's 2 plays that they can run right here. They'll either run the quarterback sneak with Moon, because he's a big, strong quarterback that can lunge forward in there, or they're going to lead with Lumsden again and give it to Germany.
Well, which one are they going to do?
I'll guess that they'll give it to Germany. What do you guess?
I think he'll keep it. I think Moon takes it.
Probably I'll give it to Lumsden. We'll both wrong.
If they give it to Germany, he has to hold it in his right hand. As you may notice, he can't hold that ball in the left hand because of that bad finger.
All right, they've got their short yardage unit in. It's third and goal from the 1. Moon keeps. Touchdown.
All right. That's what you call a blind hog finding an acorn, Ron. You finally got one.
I was surprised he went over the top. That's very surprising. You know, usually a guy as big and strong as Moon, you get that head down and just get those legs driving forward, and over 200 pounds, he's going to drive in. But he takes like 1 step. He looks, doesn't like what he sees, and he leaves his feet, which is, you know, not the best thing to do, because they can hit you and stop you easy, but he gets in.
Yeah, he sent the backs opposite to take the middle linebacker with them. He sent both Lumsden and Germany to the right, and then he took it to the left.
The point after by Dave Cutler. And it's now 20-15, and we have a new ball game at Olympic Stadium in Montreal in Grey Cup 81. 1:06 the time left to play in the third quarter. 20-15, a 5-point difference, and we still have 16 minutes and 6 seconds to play. Now, even at halftime, the general conversation in the press box here at Olympic Stadium, nobody was conceding victory to the Ottawa Rough Riders, even though they led by 19.
Well, you always have to look at it this way. If you can score 20 points in one half, the other team can score 20 in the second. And You know,
especially if their name's Edmonton.
Well, you've got to come out in that third quarter. It's like a new ball game, and you have to establish yourself all over again. And boy, it's hard to do. And the Eskimos finally seem to be coming alive and playing the ball that people think they are and know they can play.
You know, for Edmonton, they can earn it the hard way, but when they get one the easy way like that, boy, it just builds them that much stronger and harder. There's Lumsden on the sidelines right there. He's been a great asset to them on those short yardage situations and sustaining when they really had to keep the ball.
Graisley, who was shaken up and appeared to have a cramp earlier on the return. He breaks it out to the 39-yard line with 59 seconds remaining in the quarter. James Barker was the man who arrested his progress. It will be 1st and 10 Ottawa, and right now I'd suggest that the Ottawa Rough Riders have to try and get something going.
Hey, they needed that kickoff return badly, and to get that ball in that position. He came up there real good and just read that thing on the inside, and regardless of getting hit that time and getting his knee hurt badly, it looked like it was hurt badly, he still come up there with a lot of determination again, and that's how you got to return those kickoffs.
1st and 10. J.C. Watts for Tony Gabriel. And if the Ottawa Rough Riders required a big play, Gabriel provided it right there.
That's an excellent play by Gabriel. Stokwa cleared out the area, and Gabriel come from the right side across your picture underneath, and he gets a couple steps on the secondary into the open area. He catches the ball and turns that thing upfield, and Ed Jones has to come a long way to make that tackle because Ed Jones is on the other side of the field.
Yeah, I think Gabriel would have made a little bit more yardage on that, too. He's carrying that leg a little bit.
1st and 10 from the 43. Throwing it up there for Stokwa. It's picked off by Larry Highbaugh. Larry Highbaugh intercepting J.C. Watts back at the 21-yard line.
This is what Highbaugh does the best. That was not his man that was going to catch the football. Larry's dropping back, and he's reading the quarterback, and the quarterback just lofts it, tries to get it to the inside man, and he comes from outside from his corner position, and with a great jumping ability that he has, he makes the interception.
Ron, I can see them throwing that pass when they're down inside the 20-yard line, and they know that they're in man-for-man coverage, but why the hell would he throw that ball up in his zone like that?
Oh, I think he thought he had man-to-man coverage. I think it's just a great play by Highbaugh there.
As the seconds tick down, this could be the final play of the third quarter. Swinging it out to Lumsden. First down and more for the Edmonton Eskimos out to the 38-yard line. Glassford and Silvietta make the tackle on the final play of the third quarter. And at the end of 45 minutes, the score is Ottawa 20 and Edmonton 15. Grey Cup 81 continues after this.
Here's to the everyday things that end up being everything. Here's to all things simple with casual clothing and footwear from Marks.
The first play of the fourth quarter. Moon throwing deep for Waddell Smith, incomplete. Good defensive play by Carl Graisley to deflect that ball away from Waddell Smith streaking down the sidelines.
Almost turned that one over again. It was just a regular sprint out pass again, and Waddell Smith turned up, and he put something on that ball, or Graisley would have had that interception, Ron.
Yeah, Moon gets outside. He's got Waddell Smith taking the seam. He tries to throw it on a line because he's got the free safety coming that way. He has to throw it a little bit more to the outside than he wanted to. He wanted to lead him into the middle, but when you got that safety in there, you can't do it, and it's a good defensive play by Graisley.
2nd and 10 from the 38. Incomplete. And the Edmonton Eskimos will be forced to kick it away, and let's now go down to Bill Stevenson.
Highbaugh made the interception, and he made a great one. The anticipation and timing, Larry, I thought was tremendous.
Thank you. We were in our halfback blitz, and I just happened to read where the quarterback was throwing the ball, and I just went for it.
And that means you've had an interception in last year's Grey Cup and now one in this year.
Yes, and, you know, just hope we can get a couple more to pull this game out of here. Ottawa playing very well. This is the best they played all year, and, you know, they deserve to be ahead right now because they're playing really great football.
Larry Highbaugh.
Well, both sides have been playing some great football so far this afternoon. Tremendous kick by Hank Olisic. Calvin Kirk back to his own 9. A penalty flag flies as Kirk breaks a couple of tackles and gets out to the 35-yard line. But there's a penalty flag back at the 10-yard line.
You're going to get a clip. They hit Tommy Towns in the back. This is one of those debatable things, whether Towns turned or whether the guy hit him. But he definitely was hit in the back when the referee was looking, that's for sure.
Well, I don't know. They put the rule in so that we can return punts and make the game more lively and get people to be excited about nice returns and throw the flag down every time a good return is made.
You can't cheat, Leo. No cheating.
A 64-yard kick by Hank Olisic, and here's where the clip takes place.
I think you're almost able to see it. Right in here, Tom Towns is going to get hit in the back. Right there, he gets hit. And that's what the referee saw, and that's what he called.
You see how that happens, though, Ron? At the last minute there, he turns his back. The guy has already committed himself by direction, and that never should be called. Well, they're in a bad shape down here right now as far as Ottawa's concerned. They've got to come out of here.
From the 8, 1st and 10. Sam Platt finds some room, and he is out to about the 17-yard line. Here's Brian Williams.
Billy Hardy, you seem to be beating yourselves.
Well, we made a few mistakes today. Edmonton a little intensity, so they got the upper hand on us right now. We can make a few big plays and change the momentum around. We can get it back, take over the last quarter.
Well, Billy Hardy has certainly played a strong game defensively for the Rough Riders, knocking down one very important pass, intercepting another. It's 2nd and 2 yards for Ottawa over the middle. Gabriel first down at the 21.
I'll tell you, got to be impressed with J.C. Watts. Here's a kid that's right down in the shadow of his goal line, dropping back out of there like he's been in the league for 20 years and just throwing that ball with precision timing right in there to Gabriel for that key first down. Well, I think he's doing a great job. Conversely, the other guy that's the all-time all-star, Moon, looks like he's a little bit uptight.
When there were some suggestions earlier in the week that Tony Gabriel might not be able to play because of that injured knee, I think everybody here knew that a team of wild horses wouldn't keep Gabe out of the game. The question was, how good would that knee stand up? Well, it has stood up. Grey Cup 81 from Montreal returns in a moment. 12:51 the time remaining in Grey Cup 81. A first down for Ottawa at their own 21. Ed Jones injured on that last play and stopping Tony Gabriel. His spot being taken by Pete Labarada. Calvin Kirk trying to get outside a very high fly. He goes out of bounds. That will be close to another first down.
The last two plays, J.C. Watt on the 2nd down short yardage. Gabriel is inside Ed Jones to start with. He just dumps it over the middle, and Gabriel's hard to bring down. This time, Kirk just comes off about 3 steps and stops. Larry Highball will give you a cushion as you come off the line, and J.C. Watt took advantage of it. So the last 2 plays, he's taken advantage of 2 things that Edmonton can't stop.
What they got to do right here, Ron, is they'd like to score if they could or get down to kick a score, but what they got to do is move the ball over midfield so that they can punt and get field position.
Gabriel again loses the football. It's still loose. They whistle it down. They will rule that Gabriel was down before the ball blocked away, and that will be very close to another Ottawa first down.
And that's what you call a big break, and that's what you call the luck of George Brancato going over to get the ice.
Gabriel's just searching for a hole, and Watt throws it high. The linebacker can't jump up and get it, and Gabriel got the good hands and a good height. He makes the catch and hits the ground, and the ball's ruled dead right there.
It was a real good call because the ball did not come out until he hit the ground.
That happened to you one time, didn't it, Leo?
It sure did. Leon McQuaid never fumbled that ball in that Grey Cup.
Perhaps if we appeal to the commissioner, we can get the result changed, Leo.
10 years later, I'll go back tomorrow.
Well, Tony Gabriel is certainly going out in a blaze of glory. He is retiring at the conclusion of this game. Sam Platt over the football. It bounced right back into his arms as Ottawa tried something just a little different, and they lost yards on the play back to the 38.
Well, I'm surprised that George doesn't head over to the bench on that one right there because they couldn't afford to cough up that ball at this stage, but George is lucky. Let me tell you, at the end of the season, I'm going to take him up north. I'm going to spin him around 3 times and have him head in one direction. And then I'm going to buy every step of land that he walks on. I'll have gold mines, silver mines, copper mines, the whole thing.
It's 2nd and 13. Casey Watts with the red cap for the team of the guards. And he is decked at the 45. Dave Fennell, good pursuit by the big nose guard to bring him down.
Well, they almost accomplished, Ron, what they wanted to accomplish here. They almost got the ball to midfield. They're punting now from an advantageous position. With a good punt here, they can get down and be in pretty good shape. And this Watts is carrying a little bit loose right here. Gets a block there from Reed that they may have been able to call something, but look at that right there, boy. That little kid took an awful hit.
He took an awful hit right there. He took a big chance coming back inside and jumping, and he's run the ball enough all through his career that he's okay.
Oregon kicking it to Marco Sintar at the 28. Nowhere to go. He is down at the 31. Rick Sovieta, the first man downfield, and he has performed well on special teams throughout the entire season for Ottawa. Sincar's return restricted to 3 yards after a 38-yard kick by Jerry Organ.
They can't afford to give Edmonton even 1 first down here with the way that Olisic can kick the ball, because if they exchange the possession of the ball throughout this 4th quarter, Olisic is going to kick in a hole ultimately that'll get Cutler close enough to get those points.
Pressure, a pass almost picked off by Glazer.
That surprised him. That ball was thrown to Tommy Scott, and he's thrown behind him. Glassford come in to put heat on him, and he let it go, and the ball hit Brazeley straight in the hands. I don't think he anticipated. I don't think he ever saw it.
Maybe we can see that again, but it was Glassford on a middle linebacker stun on this thing. You'll see him coming right there, and he takes a clear shot, and Moon sees him coming and just throws the ball off balance. Never should have thrown the ball, and if he picked that one off right there, he may have gone all the way in.
I think it surprised him.
It's 2nd and 10 from the 31. 10:06 is the time left in the ball game. 20-15. Ottawa leads Edmonton. Moon in trouble. The ball is loose. Recovered by Ottawa. Doug Seymour came up with the ball, and the Ottawa Riders created a major turnover here in the 4th quarter.
That is what you call a real turnover and a real turning point in this ball game. And if that don't ignite Ottawa, nothing will. Now what they've got to do is get that ball and just be conservative and not try to score right away, but very patiently take that ball into the end zone.
Moon was looking for Scott. Scott fell down on his cut. Greg Marshall come in from the back and hit Warren Moon and caused a fumble, and it rolled around until Doug Seymour finally fell on the football.
Great play by the Ottawa defense. Now he's got to be patient, and he's got to show some experience right here. Experience that he doesn't have. But I'll tell you one thing, he's going to go down trying because this kid's got a lot of guts.
1st and 10 from the 23. Setting up the screen to Platt. Platt is caught immediately by middle linebacker Dan Kepley. Doug Seymour, who started the year with British Columbia, was traded to Ottawa for a draft choice, coming up with a very vital fumble recovery here in the 4th quarter. And the Ottawa Rough Riders, although they face a 2nd and 13 situation, are in position to add to their 5-point lead.
This would be a great place right here for that screen pass. They won't be expecting it down this close, but I don't think they'll do it down here.
Sam Platt trying to break off tackle. He got to the 20-yard line, but it will be well short of a first down. Here's Brian Williams.
Doug Seymour recovered that Edmonton fumble. What happened?
Well, I think one of our ends hit him, knocked the ball loose, and happened to be there and fall on it.
You guys,
break for us.
You guys seem to be sleeping when you came out in the 2nd half. Maybe a bit tense, like Edmonton was in the 1st half.
I don't know. We're just not playing ball like we were the 1st half. He's got to smarten up and play harder.
That was a good run by Sam Platt right there. He put a good move on Este, I believe, and put the ball in front of the goalpost. Even if he doesn't like the first down, he's got him in front.
That's what he wanted to do, no question about it. Get it right there where they can kick it in.
A successful field goal attempt by Jerry Organ could be big at this juncture of the ball game. He puts it through.
the momentum that we talked about that they lost a little bit earlier has evened itself out right now. That was a big play for Ottawa recovering that fumble, and they look like a little bit different football team right now.
And now it's an 8-point lead for the Ottawa Rough Riders. Touchdown and a 2-point conversion. And we could have overtime.
I don't think anybody expected that either.
The Eskimos scrimmage 1st and 10 from their own 35 with 8:09 left to play. Boone throwing deep, looking for Kelly. A great play by Sutton. Kelly had maneuvered in behind the cornerback, and is Sutton delighted with the fact he was able to deflect that one away because he was beaten.
Almost turned his back, Ron, made the cardinal error, turned his back on the ball and lost it, but he had just, fortunately, he turned around and got a hand on it. But how many times have we seen Kelly break loose behind that guy like that and make the big catch?
He got behind him. Moon didn't throw it far enough, and when he got behind him, Sutton turned to catch up, and the ball was in the air, and he fortunately found it when he looked up right at the end and got his hand on it.
2nd and 10 from the 35, 7:46, the time left to play. Moon getting the protection for Sinkar. He was being covered by Larry Brown, and the Eskimos will be forced to kick it away.
You know, Don, I don't care what happens in this ball game. I've got to reflect on what George Brancato said in the press conference, and I thought it was untimely at the time when he said it. But George said, listen, he said, this is the best football team that we've had in 3 years out here today. And I looked at him as much as to say, boy, how can you say that on the basis of 2 games? But this football team, everybody has said they're playing over their head, but I think they're a pretty good football team right now.
A lot of people agree with that.
Melisic stands at his own 20. High kick. Kirk takes it at the 40. Kirk finds a hole. The penalty flag goes down. Kirk is upset at the 36-yard line, but a penalty flag was thrown around the 50, or was it the midfield stripe?
No, there was 2 different clips on the play.
Well, we'll return to sort it all out in just a moment. The score is 23-15. This is Grey Cup 81 from Montreal. The clipping call wipes out an excellent return by Calvin Kirk. And the Ottawa Rough Riders are backed up to their own 40-yard line now. 1st and 10 from that point.
Calvin Kirk makes some excellent moves right there. There's the clip that just shows up when he pushed the guy in the back, and you just can't do that. That's cost him a lot of yards today on those returns.
Draw play with Sam Platt to the line of scrimmage, and then he was driven back. Now let's go down to the bench, and here's Brian Williams.
Don, this is John Sutton who made that great defensive play. Now, the secondary, John, was supposed to be the big Ottawa weakness. Moon was going to pick you guys apart. They call you the rejects.
Well, they've been saying that for the last couple of games about us, but I'll tell you what, we put our 5 defensive secondary together, and we're playing excellent ball right now.
How are you staying with these fast wide receivers?
Well, we're just getting after them, and we're doing our best we can do. Thank you.
Well, they have been doing a good job. And right now, J.C. Watts would like to keep the drive going, but that Edmonton defensive club is putting on pressure. Towns is coming from his linebacking position. Dave Fennell came up the middle. He had help from David Boone, and there was nowhere for J.C. Watts to go or throw.
He's looking for Gabriel right inside on that pass that he hit a minute ago. Gabriel was covered. He wisely pulled it down when those green shirts all appeared. That is constant pressure and good pressure because now you have nowhere to go.
That showed a lot of class on that too, Ron, because he could have thrown it away. And for a rookie in a critical position like that, it's a mistake that they oftentimes make. But he pulled it down, as you said, did the safe thing.
3rd down kick by Jerry Organ. Bounces to Sinkar, and Sinkar is stopped at the 35-yard line. Well, you know, the Football Reporters of Canada inducted 4 of their members into the CFL Football Hall of Fame yesterday. 3 of the 4 inductees admitted posthumously were former Canadian sports editors Vern de Geer from Montreal, Tony Allen from Winnipeg, and Dave Dryberg from Regina. Also admitted was was longtime Winnipeg broadcaster Jack Wells. And of course, I'm sure as everyone is aware, Cactus, as he is affectionately nicknamed, the father of our Grey Cup host, John Wells. And we congratulate Cactus on being inducted into the Football Hall of Fame. Warren Moon getting away from pressure. He's got a receiver. Tommy Scott open. And Scott goes out of bounds at the 40-yard line.
Another big catch by number 22, Tom Scott.
What happened here is Moon rolled to his left, and he's looking backside for Scott on an out or a post by the outside receiver. He looks backside. Now he gets some pressure. He steps underneath it, and now he does what he does the best. Scott, in turn, comes back to the inside and finds a hole away from Larry Brune, and Warren Moon finds him. So that's excellent thinking on the move, like by Scott and Moon.
A 33-yard gain. Moon to Scott. First down, Edmonton at the 41 of Ottawa with 5:15 left to play. Sinclair out of bounds. First down, Edmonton. Larry Brune took Sinclair out.
In that defense that they're in that time, and maybe we can see it again, Glassford reads the quarterback for the sprint play. The quarterback starts his sprint, and Glassford starts his penetration right here and gets up in his face. You can't see him right there, but he's stunning with the quarterback and penetrating and getting with the quarterback on that, and that's a difficult block as far as the offensive line is concerned.
First and 10, Edmonton at the 25 of Ottawa. 4:55 left to play in the game. 23-15. Ottawa leading Edmonton. Moon throwing to Neil Lumsden. He breaks one, two tackles down to the goal line. He was stopped at the one.
That's a great play right there. They slipped Germany out underneath the backers as they hit him earlier, and then he slid to the middle, and then Lumsden went right up the seam, and Moon found him, and he's outside the linebacker. You'll see it. Moon looks, Germany's underneath, and then he just dumps the ball to Lumsden, and Lumsden's outside the backers, and it's a great hit right here by Phelps to keep him from going into the end zone.
Neil Lumsden, with only 21 catches all season, has already wrapped his hands around 9 this afternoon. First and goal for the Edmonton Eskimos. Moon keeps, touchdown! We have the ex-coaches here with us. Do you go for 1 or 2 points?
I think you got to go for 2. There's plenty of time left, but I still think you got to go for 2 in this case.
I think you go for 2 right now.
You go for 2 for a lot of reasons. Number 1, to get even with the other people, but number 2, to put the pressure on them. Because if you don't go for 2 and you just make 1, it takes a little bit of pressure off of Ottawa.
You'll see Warren Moon here just looks for a little bit of a hole, leaves his feet once again, and gets over the goal line. And now we come down to the 2-point conversion. They'll put the ball on the hash mark, and they're going to roll Moon to the wide side of the field where he can either run it or throw it. This is a good call. They put the ball in the right place because he's right-handed, and he's going to roll out to the right. There's no doubt about that.
If I was Ottawa, I'd get some linebackers on the outside over there and come right up in his face.
Well, a big 2-point conversion attempt by the Edmonton Eskimos. They roll to that right side, pressured by Ottawa. The pass into the end zone. The score is tied.
I believe Greg Marshall came hard up the field, but he got cut from the outside, and it allowed Moon to get outside. Sinclair went down the field and looked around and finally came back to the football, and I'm not sure Moon was throwing to him. You'll see him get outside, and now he's looking. He throws it into the end zone. He steps right in front of Kelly. I think he was throwing to Kelly, but what's the difference? They caught it.
Did that look like any kind of a play that you used to pull occasionally on us when we used to play down there?
No, we never, nothing. We just roll out and throw.
It looked to me like there may have been a little bit of a pick on that play right there because Sinclair came off of the inside of the breakout, and if he didn't pick physically, he certainly picked in front of him.
Well, you see Moon gets outside. He throws it in there.
See it?
And Sinclair came back from the outside. He ran an out pattern, and then when Moon scrambled, he came back inside.
I wish we could get a good look from that at a different angle because it looked like they were running the inside receiver into the coverage on the outside and bringing Sinclair underneath.
4:05, the time left to play. The score is tied at 23. And I caution our CTV confreres, Pat Marsden, Frank Rickey, and Mike Wadsworth not to go away, because we might just have overtime.
4 minutes left on a lot of time. Edmonton wants to pin them deep, and Ottawa's looking for that good return right now.
Graisley starts out from the 10. Graisley dives out to the 33-yard line.
You don't get any place on those kickoff returns looking and jockeying for position. You got to take that ball and start upfield and keep going with it, Ron.
I don't know, Leo. He had nowhere to go. The best thing he did is he didn't run backwards. He just got up there and didn't see anything he wanted and dove to get that extra yard and keep the ball in as good a field position as possible.
Well, it's like that guy said that got caught in the house with somebody else's wife. He said, "Where's the door?" And she said, "Which door?" And he said, "You want me to make one?" That's what he should have done on that one. He should have made a door and just headed right up the field.
You're a beauty.
It's 1st and 10, Ottawa. The Rough Riders scrimmaging at their own 33. The seconds ticking away. 3:45 now left in the game. The score tied at 23. Watts throwing for Stokely, incomplete.
Good thing you threw that ball out of bounds because he was running into double coverage back there. He had McLeod coming over the top, and it would have taken an excellent throw. He couldn't have got that one in there, I don't believe, so he threw it out of bounds.
Well, if the score remains tied, I'm sure there are a lot of people looking in this afternoon wondering what the procedure will be. There would be a 10-minute intermission, 10 minutes of play, 1 minute to switch ends, and then 10 minutes of play. So don't go away.
This has got to be a big play right here.
3:28 remaining in this ball game. 2nd and 10, Ottawa. The Rough Riders desperately need a first down. J.C. Watts trying to get it for them, throwing it up. Gabriel's got it. What a catch by Tony Gabriel. There was a flag on the play.
They're both fighting for position on that thing. This is going to be interesting.
I don't know which way I'd call it. I'll tell you what, I don't think I'd call it either way because they were both going after the football.
You better believe that, Ron. They're both pushing each other.
Well, let's see what Gabriel does. Watts gets in a whole lot of trouble. Gabriel looks like hurt his leg the way he was going out. Now he sees trouble. He sees Watts scrambling, and he's trying to get to an open spot.
Well, I mean, he's being jockeyed downfield, which is illegal in the first place.
Well, let's see. They're still talking.
That is definitely interference against Gabriel. Now, I don't know how they're going to call it.
I'll tell you one thing. Gabriel hurt his leg a little bit. He's limping pretty good now.
What determination and what effort by Tony Gabriel. He doesn't want to come out of the ball game. He's looking over at the bench. George Brancato appears to be indicating that he wants him to come out. He's way out on the field.
I'll tell you, if I was George, I'd be out on the field on that one, too. I don't blame George at all.
Well, I'll tell you what, on a call like that, I have to go with that double call. You either have to call them both or you don't call either one because they were both going after the ball.
Well, Ron, the rule is simply this. Forget about what happened once the ball was in the air, but the defender hit Gabriel 2 or 3 times, jostled him while he was trying to get in a position to catch the ball. That's illegal to begin with.
Well, he didn't hit him. They didn't call it then, though. Let's see Gabriel come off. He gets hurt. He's hurting that leg a little bit.
He's downfield right here, just jockeying for position. Now watch the defender. Bump him there. That's illegal. Watch him here. Bump him here. That's illegal. Well, I'll tell you one thing.
Well, it's 2nd and 10. And Watts goes down back at the 23. So with 2:52 remaining, Ottawa will be forced to kick it away, and Grey Cup 81 from Montreal returns in a moment. 2:52, the time remaining in this football game, and I doubt if even the most optimistic Ottawa supporter thought that the Rough Riders would be even close at this stage.
And Don, who's going to win those 2 beautiful Counting O'Keefe cars over there?
I'll tell you, the selections are going to be very, very difficult. Excellent kick by Oregon, taken by Gary Hayes, and Hayes is dragged down at the 43-yard line by John Sutton and Rick Sovieta.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Oregon has really held up his end today. I'll tell you, he's not a great punter. but when called upon to make those key field goals, he made them, and now probably the most important punt of his season this year. He punted that ball and got a lot of distance on him and got the field position, and now it's up to the defense.
Edmonton has to be careful. They don't want to turn it over here, not in this range.
1st and 10. The ball is at the 44. Moon throws inside. There's a penalty flag in the play to Tommy Scott. Or make that Marco Sincar.
I think we're going to get a call on Marshall. And I don't know what he did, but he hit Germany somehow. And Coach Brancato doesn't like that one bit. And I don't blame him. Moon just takes it and just stands up and hits him right in the seam.
I don't know what they call that, but improving field position down here is a dangerous thing with a guy like Alisic, because Alisic will kick it right out into the St. Lawrence Seaway.
Right now, let's bring in Bill Stevenson.
All right, Ron Estale made the big sack. Ron, the emotion is riding high with the Eskimos now.
Yeah, I think the momentum's coming our way, and I just hope that we can pull this thing out because we've been working hard all year. I just like to tell my family back home high.
Incomplete pass. Talk about emotion.
Well, he plays with a lot of power.
At that Edmonton bench with several of those veteran ball players.
And there's a guy that's been there for a long time, so you know the feeling on that bench and the feeling between all those individuals on that football team, and that's one of the reasons for their greatness.
Moon just tries to hit Scott with a quick out, and the ball's thrown low. Tom couldn't hold on to the football, and again, Brazeley went down after the play. Well, he didn't really seem to get hurt. He just went down just now.
It's the same thing, Ryan. You're probably right. It's probably a cramp of some kind. Either that or he's got a cartilage misplaced in there, and it goes out occasionally.
2:18, the time remaining. The score tied at 23 at 2nd and 10. Edmonton, they are at the 51 of the Ottawa Roughriders. Ottawa jumped into a 20-1 first half lead. Total surprise to everyone, I'm sure. And then the Edmonton Eskimos fighting back in the 3rd quarter. But the Ottawa Roughriders yielding those yards ever so grudgingly.
The big play, I think, Edmonton got the momentum finally on their side, and then when Greg Marshall came around and hit Warren Moon and Doug Seymour recovered the ball, Ottawa got another lift right there, and since then it's pretty tough down on that football field right now.
Don't you know Huey Campbell right now is taking a look at number 7 coming off this field, and Moon is coming back on the field from a little bit of a conference with Campbell, and Campbell's probably saying they got to readjust that secondary, so go to their weakness. Now, if they get close enough and the clock gets wound down enough, one thing to keep in mind, I don't know if they use it or not, but one thing to keep in mind is that Lumsden can kick, and they could quick kick into the end zone and get that point.
This time it appears to be much more serious as far as Brazeley is concerned than it was when he was helped off the field earlier in this second half.
I still believe it's a cramp, Don. I really think it is. From where he's grabbing, and the trainer was grabbing him at the calf and pushing his foot up, I really think it's a cramp.
Do you ever have a cramp in your knee?
No, down on the calf.
Well, Glenn Cook comes in to take Brazeley's spot. The Ottawa Roughriders during this ball game at times have had 6 defensive backs in there.
They're going to be in a zone back there this time. They're a little bit overmatched. They've had to move Hardy outside now, and they're going to sit in a zone out here.
They're not going to say we can't cover, so we got a blitz.
Well, second and cover. Moon trying to take off. He's blocked at the 49-yard line.
He went after Hardy on the corner, and Hardy didn't back up one bit, and Kelly got no room at all to run a sideline pattern. Moon did. The only thing he could do is bring that thing back as close as he could, get what he can, and hope Alisi can get it deep.
Hardy did a good job defending, and Raines and Seymour closed in on him.
That's a good play by Ottawa. Billy Hardy made an excellent play out on the corner. He didn't back up one bit.
Roncano is going crazy on the sidelines trying to get his team adjusted, and I know that he's telling them, whatever you do now, don't go for the rush. Stay away from the kicker. Put the return on. Don't take any chance on jostling this guy at all. Only one guy coming in there. Everybody else is going back to set it up.
Kirk takes it in the end zone. He gets out. And he gets out to the 12-yard line before he's stopped by Lamoretto. 1:43 is the time left to play.
That's good running right there by Kirk. He brought that thing out in a lot of traffic and cut back. Watch him. He comes up in. He's got nowhere to go. He's just fishing around. He's got good balance. They're trying to steal the ball. He hangs on, and he's still not down. That is good running.
That Hardy is not a devastating blocker, but he belly bumped that one guy out of the way down there.
That was a 53-yard kick, and Hank Olisic came up to finally stop Calvin Kirk, who broke away from the initial tackle by Pete Lavorato. A return of 19 over the middle intended for Stokely. He was being covered by Hayes. It will be 2nd and 10, 1:40 remaining in the game.
Well, I don't think Tony Gabriel's in the ball game, and when Tony's coming underneath those defensive backs like that, you can throw it high because of the height and the reach that he has. Stokely is not as tall as him, and that's what the problem was right there. There's just nothing Watt could do about it. He had to throw it where he did.
I'll tell you, this J.C. Watts is dropping back there and throwing the ball like he's got good sense. I'll tell you, he's got more poise than anybody I've ever seen for a rookie.
So there's nothing to this game.
2nd and 10, throwing deep down the sidelines, intended for Kirk. Oh, just off his fingertips.
Great throw by J.C. Watt, right on the button.
Kirk is protesting that he was interfered with by Holloman. However, to no avail.
Well, George will be protesting that Kirk didn't catch that ball, too.
You'll see J.C. Watt right here. He looks to the out. It's not there. He just lays it down the field. Now, Holloman thinks he was interfered with. Kirk's upset, but the ball is right where it should be. That's an excellent throw by J.C. Watt.
Well, I'll tell you, that J.C. Watt's has got my vote. He is really something for a rookie quarterback.
The crowd rose as one on that throw from Watts to Calvin Kirk. Ottawa desperately needs a big kick here by Jerry Organ, and he gets a good kick. Fraietta takes it at his own 50. And Fraietta returns it to the 50 of the Ottawa Rough Riders with 1:22 left in the game. It was Billy Hardy who came up to pull the feet out from under the Edmonton punt return man.
What a stage this is setting for this last couple seconds of this football game.
Things are going to get interesting if the Edmonton Eskimos pick up about 10 yards because Olisic can reach that end zone, and there's anything can happen then.
That's the big thing right there, Ron. I mean, you can exchange with them, and as far as ball control is concerned, you can hold them defensively, but watch that Olisic's punting.
Jim Germany fighting his way down to the 42-yard line. Now they're moving into field goal range for Dave Cutler.
Well, I'll tell you, it's I don't know which hand Germany likes to carry the football in. Most backs have a preference. When things are tough, they want to carry it in certain ones. Germany's got it tucked in that right arm, which is into the traffic, into the inside, and he gets a lot of hits on it and hangs on. You hope that's the arm he likes to carry it in anyway, because he had it exposed. As you say, Leo, you don't like to carry that ball to the inside.
Well, the only other overtime game in Grey Cup history, 1961. And, of course, that was the memorable contest at CNE Stadium in Toronto, where Kenny Plain scored the winning touchdown as the Blue Bombers beat Hamilton. 1:15 is the time left to play.
They get one more first down here with the time running down. Olisic will probably be the guy. Well, not this first down, but one more 10-yarder.
Moon for the first down on 2nd and short yardage with now 1:04 left to play. They'll position that ball at the 39 of the Ottawa Rough Riders.
I don't think you're going to see the ball in the air again, Ron, until they punt it or kick a field goal here. What do you think?
I don't know. You always say, Leo, you got to do what got you here, and Moon's going to, I think he's got to roll out with that football, and if it's not there, run it. But he's going to move it better throwing it. Let's see what happens.
We're into the final
rolling
minute.
Right.
Hand off to Germany. Germany finds some room. He's down to the 30-yard line. 44 seconds remain.
I think they're just going to keep it on the ground here, and if they get any closer, they're not even going to take a chance, I don't think, with Cutler kicking the field goal. I think they'll let Olisic just put it out of the ballpark.
Well, how about these selections? The offensive player of the game, J.C. Watts. The defensive player of the game, John Glassford. And the Canadian player of the game, Neil Lumsden.
I think they're good choices.
John Glassford is amazing. You know that? Germany makes a super run right there. He gets hit by everybody, but he gets it down to where they got that short yardage in, and I think Moon's going to take it again.
Well, the way he got hit right there, he could have coughed up that ball, too.
Boy, he did get hit.
Second and less than a yard. 27 seconds remain. Germany gets that tackle to the 21-yard line.
Watch that clock. Don't make any mistakes.
And at the Edmonton bench,
2 quarterback sneaks here, and then just to take the clock down close enough and then kick it out of sight.
Well, they're bringing in the instructions. Waddell Smith and them, they were talking to Cal Murphy and Hugh Campbell, so whatever, they know exactly what they're going to do.
Well, that Ottawa football team deserves so much credit. What a gallant bunch of football players they were this afternoon.
It's 1st and 10. The ball is at the 22. The clock is running. Germany again to the 20-yard line with 6 seconds remaining.
What do you do?
William Mitchell made the tackle. Now, you go for the three-pointer, or do you kick it out of the end zone?
At this position right here, you definitely go for the three-pointer because you're close enough and you're taking advantage now of that long snap to the punter. Unless they just get Olisic back in a quick kick position, let him punt from there. But if you're going to throw it way back to that punter, you're taking a chance. Otherwise, the field goal comes in.
6 seconds remain in the game. A timeout has been called. Grey Cup 81 from Montreal will return for the final 6 seconds in a moment. All the drama of Grey Cup 81 riding on one kick. A field goal attempt by Jay Cutler from 27 yards out. 6 seconds remain in the clock. 3 people in the end zone to kick it back up, and it's good. Cutler puts it through. And with 3 seconds to play, it's Edmonton 26, Ottawa 23.
You got to be happy if you're an Eskimo fan, but the Rough Riders, they show the dejection. Now, I can remember losing one on the last play, and there's not a worse feeling in the world. Well, Cutler looks like he does it all the time. He didn't even get excited. But what a football game.
Well, I'm speechless. I'll tell you, it just looked to me like Sutton almost got there at the extent of his body. He might have gotten in front of the ball there. But what a disappointment for those Ottawa fans after playing such a magnificent game this afternoon. And you can see those players, they're just absolutely deflated there. But they have nothing at all to be ashamed of. They've had a fantastic Grey Cup here this afternoon. In the face of insurmountable odds, they almost pulled off probably the biggest upset of all time in Grey Cup games.
Well, 3 seconds remain to be played. Hugh Campbell still shouting instructions to his players. I think you'll see about 7 or 8 people dropping back. I don't anticipate much more than a 3-man rush. J.C. Watts will not get a chance to go. He knocks over the official, still trying to get that pass away. Watts is going to run with the football. But he is, well, he pitches it off to Stokewell.
That's right down to the end, boy.
At the 50-yard line, and that is the ball game. And the Edmonton Eskimos add another page to the CFL record book, the first team to ever win 4 consecutive Grey Cups.